One. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Hustle and Hoops podcast. We're finally back, the four of us. Duville back from his little vacation with the family. Jack back from visiting home. Dove, me and you, the home people. Yeah. Dove, you doing well today, though?
I'm exhausted, but let's get into basketball. That's gonna make me happy.
All right. Then let's just get into basketball. Screw that. We had a little story.
Else.
Let's just get into basketball.
Interesting.
The biggest story
okay.
since me and Dove last recorded was the Rudy Gobert trade. Gobert trade. The Rudy Gobert trade. I can't give him his real name. I can't do that. Real quick. I swear to God, my dog just shut my door on her way out. I don't even know how she did that. I swear to God, she just shut the door on her way out. But Rudy Gobert to the Wolves for 4 first-round picks, Malik Beasley, Jared Vanderbilt, Patrick Beverly, and Walker Kessler, who they just drafted in the first round of the NBA draft just over a week ago. So let's give it to the person who had the reaction last because they were off the grid for the weekend. JD, what did you think when you heard this trade?
What is going on, everybody? It's good to be back. But my first reaction to this trade was driving back home, and my brother had just mentioned it, and I told him, hold up, tell me exactly what happened here, because this is a blockbuster. Now, I mean, we can shit on Rudy as much as we want, but I think this package is like a lot. They got a lot back for him. Utah is definitely loading up. If that was the best package Utah could have gotten, I was thinking about that, and I really I think it's a good move that they're centering around Donovan Mitchell. So if this was the best package they could have gotten, then yeah, this was the move. This was definitely the play because they got a lot out of it. I'll say that.
Yeah, they definitely did. Jack, you think this was a win for both teams, or you think one team is winning this trade a little bit more than the other?
I think it's a win for both teams because it seems like the Timberwolves want to win now. And by making this trade, they lose a little bit of depth, but they're trying to win now. I don't know how Cat and Gobert in the backcourt or front court. Sorry.
Court.
Also very tired, like my boy Doug over here. Still got a little jet lag, but I think both teams
grind
win.
For the fan.
And we have to give somebody their flowers in this trade. It's not any player on the Jazz. It's not any player on the Timberwolves. It's not an executive on the Jazz. It's not an executive on the Timberwolves.
I think I know who this is.
It's Brian Windhorst. Yep. And that man made a name for himself this past week by having news that nobody else did. And boy, did he use that to his advantage.
I don't know if he knew this exact trade was coming.
He knew something.
He knew something was coming.
And he knew that nobody else knew that something.
Yeah. And he milked the shit out of it.
Why is that? Because he is better than Woj. He is better than Shams. No, I'm just kidding.
But I mean, we have seen some interesting moments from both of those guys this past week and a half, 2 weeks. It's been some questionable moments, but
Malika Andrews got in on the play saying, who did she say got signed? She was the person that said somebody got signed before Woj or Sam.
She did break someone. It might have been Bruce Brown.
Yeah, I think it was.
She broke Bruce Brown.
That's what I was about to say.
Yeah.
Well, is that a segue?
No, we're not talking. I haven't let you talk about this yet, Dove. Do you think the Jazz are saying, like Duville said, he likes how the Jazz would be building around Donovan Mitchell if they're trading Gobert? Do you think they will be building around Donovan Mitchell after that trade, or you think he's next to go?
I like what Duville said. I think they're pieces that they're putting around Donovan. They're not pieces that they're putting, weird phrasing, but with Donovan, if you know what I mean.
Obviously,
next to Donovan, they weren't able clearly like Duke said, if this was the best deal available, they weren't able to put a guy next to Donovan with
Another
a trade
star,
for
another
Gobert.
superstar,
Well,
yeah.
it doesn't even have to be another star, just someone who is bringing something better than Malik Beasley, Patrick Beverly probably isn't going to be on the team, and Jared Vanderbilt and a rookie Walker Kessler. Like none of those guys are bringing what. I don't know.
Kessler's
Like
probably
that's
going
the
to be
thing.
the starting center.
I don't know what.
It's essentially 5
That's 'cause they
first-round
have no
picks.
centers.
Yeah, they have no
plus
centers.
three
Udoka has a
decent
Buki.
players.
I just think I agree basically with what you're saying, where I think with what they've shown us, they're going to build around Donovan Mitchell. But the question is like, what are you going to do, or what is their approach going to be? If the Rudy thing didn't work, what are they going? Are they going to go completely small and like Vando's now, kind of their big in in that sense? Obviously not, but what is, that's the question that you have now. We just said Walker Kessler is their best center on their lineup. So what is
Kofi
the
Cockburn.
mentality of what's his face, Danny Ainge? Like, what is he thinking? What is he saying to himself? Like, okay, this is what I'm seeing Donovan Mitchell being happy with and us succeeding with. Obviously, they're not going to do as well as they've done the past 5 years, but
Well, I mean, the team they had before is objectively a better team. However, they didn't do shit with that better team. So, and Rudy and Donovan couldn't coexist anymore. So, like, obviously, you want to win when you have a guy of Donovan Mitchell's talent. I've always thought Donovan Mitchell was a little overrated, personally. But
Bubble Guppy.
Bubble Murray versus Bubble Mitchell. Murray sustained it a little more, in my opinion, after the injury, or before the injury, compared to D Mitch, who's just kind of stayed the same. But I don't know. You look at the Jazz and it's like they still have Mike Conley, they still have Jordan Clarkson, but like the team that was fighting for those 1 seeds with Jingles and Rudy.
it's not this
Royce
team.
O'Neal,
They don't have
it's
Jingles.
It's not that team. anymore.
That's what I'm asking. That's what I'm
what
saying.
they need.
But they didn't do anything with those teams. So like, I
Right,
think
that's-
this is a
I'm-
1-year trial. See if Donovan Mitchell like does anything with them, and if he doesn't, he's gone.
Does anything with who is my point, is like, what are the next, what is there something else following this? Because
Yeah, it's either there's no like Donovan Mitchell
Like
gets traded.
what he just said.
Yeah, like if they want to, if Donovan Mitchell doesn't want to leave, there's no other moves they can make. Like they can't trade these guys. The trade is finalized. They can't
Maybe
trade any of
they'll-
the guys they just picked up.
so are maybe rephrase. Are there any additional trades or signings you see?
They don't
the
have
Jazz
anything one on
doing?
their team worth anything. No one's trading
Right.
for Mike Conley.
So what the fuck?
No one's
Yeah,
trading
they
for Jordan
just
Clarkson.
signed Mike
because
Conley this
Rudy
year.
and Donovan can't coexist.
Yeah.
I'm not
Like, what are you supposed to
disagreeing
do?
with
Just
that.
keep doing the same
No,
thing
I'm
over and
not
over again
saying-
and hope it changes?
Just because you have to make
That's
a trade
craziness,
and
Doug.
you do the
Yes.
trade.
Thank you, Jack.
What are you're not hearing my question. I'm genuinely just asking, are they
You try it
running-
out.
Are they running it with just what they have right
Yes.
now? That's what you're telling me. They're not
Yes.
signing anyone else.
That
They're
was
not
their
making any
move.
other trade. They're not even going to sign.
They might sign
minimum
some
center.
sort of
I think I'm
wing,
gonna kick
small
in.
forward,
Boogie
or
Cousins,
power
maybe?
forward.
I'm
Right,
siding
that's,
with Doug
like,
here.
I'm just
But
saying.
what are you
like,
supposed to do? Like they traded for 4 first-round picks. They traded
I'm
a 3-time
not
defensive player
saying
of
it's
the
a
year.
bad move. I don't know why you're taking this as me saying it's a bad move. It's me saying,
I don't know what you're
okay,
expecting.
you've traded Gobert. Now what are you going
But
to
like
do?
you wouldn't be saying that if you weren't expecting them to do something.
I am expecting them to do something.
Yeah, but I'm expecting them. I've been expecting them to do something. Now that they
That
was
something's
the
going to be
something.
signing
Flip this.
Boogie Cousins. and
Yeah,
that's
this
going to be
was
it.
the something. They traded Rudy.
then fine.
Something
but
had
don't
to change
ta-
and they did it.
But
That's
your
like when the
response to
Trailblazers
me,
traded
your
CJ
response to me
McCollum.
saying, "What else should they be doing, or what else are they going to
They
do
can't
so
do
that they're not?"
anything else.
Except
they
for
get a Chris
find
Boucher.
a
Trade
minimum,
Donovan
Mitchell,
that's the
find a
only
minimum
thing.
player. I'm
That's
just saying,
nothing,
like,
though. That's a nothing. Like if you're playing
If-
a game of nothing versus something, like signing Boogie Cousins in the grand scheme of things, who gives a fuck?
me when I'm saying the difference between Boogie Cousins and Walker Kessler being your only centers on your lineup. Like I
You're
feel
looking
like
at their summer league team: Walker Kessler, Kofi Cockburn, Taco Fall. They got centers galore.
okay.
What about Chris Boucher?
He's
He
still a free
resigned.
agent?
No,
Yeah.
he resigned.
Did he resign?
I could have swore he resigned. Yeah, and I was
Chris Boucher.
Yes, they did resign him.
yeah, because I remember
Shouts
being
out.
specifically
3
confused
years,
about that because
35.
he was pissed during the entirety of the regular season about
All right, let's
playing time.
let's
Um,
switch from the Jazz over to the T-Wolves real quick. Does this move make them a serious threat in the West at all?
No.
Like I don't like they added a lot of depth around them. Like they got rid of 4 depth guys, obviously, and Pat Bev, Vando, and Malik Beasley and Walker, if you count him. But like they added Slow-Mo, Kyle Anderson, re-signed Torian Prince. They signed someone else too, I want to say. I can't say who.
Kyle
off the top.
Anderson. Did you already say
Yes,
that?
Kyle Anderson and re-signing Torian Prince were their bigger acquisitions.
Yeah.
But like they have depth around the team. Like but having said that, I don't see Rudy to the team, and moving Cat from his natural position of the 5 down to the 4 is necessarily a game changer.
He played the 4 in college. Jaleel Okafor.
So what are your realistic expectations, Jack? Like, do you think?
I think that they're just going to become what the Utah Jazz were, and they're going to be a really good regular season team. And when it comes to the playoffs, maybe this team gets out of the first round now, but that's about it. I really don't see them taking the next step to being a contender at all.
JD, what do you think? You agree with Jack over there?
Yeah, I think I agree with that. I mean, I don't trust D'Lo. It comes down to the guards and the forwards because you have the presence down low. So they really bolstered their defense, I'll tell you that, because they got like a prime defensive guy who gets a lot of blocks, and Gobert has a couple defensive player of the years. That's fair. But on the flip side, you just traded for another big diva. So you're putting Cat and him on the floor together. Like when they don't get calls, they're just going to be flustered. And
No one's going to get back on
gonna be
defense.
an issue. Exactly.
They're going to be arguing with the
hey,
refs.
D'Lo did improve like exponentially, like ridiculously last season as a communicator on defense. That was a big reason why Minnesota was such a good team defensively. So while I do agree with the inconsistency argument with D'Lo, the defensive one is not so strong of an argument now after last year.
Well, I didn't bring up anything. I just said I don't trust him, and I think that's fair. I don't trust him.
You knew
especially
I was
for
say
like a
he's
playoff team. He's a snitch.
And actually, I completely agree with what you guys are saying.
That went under the radar.
Yeah, that went completely under the radar for a second. I'm agreeing with you guys in the sense that like I just don't see how this is really gonna work. But at the same time, I do have to pose the question, like, if Anthony Edwards takes a
option 1, if he's the option 1 and is that guy, then I think they could be difficult. I do.
If he takes,
he can make a big jump.
This is like a hot take, whatever you want to say.
You said if Anthony Edwards can be the
let's say if Anthony Edwards
he's gonna be an all-star this year.
I like that.
Let's say Anthony Edwards takes a Dwayne Wade level jump where he goes from being
Finals MVP in his 3rd season.
Yeah, basically that. He goes to that. Like
then they're gonna be like nasty.
Is this just like probably one of the most dangerous teams going into the playoffs if Anthony Edwards is
he'll be an all-star this year.
Clear cut, all NBA second team, first team, whatever. Like that's kind of where I'm saying like, yes, I don't see exactly how this fits. Like I don't see how just trading him to another team where it's going to be the same. Wherever you send Rudy Gobert, it's going to be the same situation on defense where, like Duve said, it's kind of all on the guards and the forwards to make sure that perimeter is not literally being given up every single time. But it's Anthony Edwards, I think, is like you guys said as well. Like if he can take that jump, I don't know if I'm counting this team out at all.
Yeah. I expect him to improve, but I don't think he's going to be like second team all NBA type of improve.
I think he's going to be an all-star, but he's playing for that Supermax.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
He-
That's what I'm
he's
saying.
playing for
Cat
the team that
just
should
got
be
a
the All NBA to
bag.
get it.
He's seeing not only
Speak
his
of
teammates,
Supermax.
but he's seeing like all of these guys, like these young guys get bags.
He'll get the
absolute
super
bags.
max.
He's
He'll
got
get
to
it.
make
He
it. He's got to
will.
make the All NBA to get the super max.
He
True.
will.
Well, I mean, technically that's after you sign the deal. Like, if you get all NBA after you sign the supermax,
You can
then
adjust
get the
it.
supermax. No, it's technically you sign the contract to the regular max amount, but there are certain, like, what's the word?
Bonuses. And
Incentives.
Yeah, certain bonuses and incentives.
I don't
like
think that's
making,
right.
I might be wrong.
There
but I'm
are.
pretty
That's
sure
a
I'm
thing
right.
in contracts is like
For young-
All
for
NBA.
Yeah,
young-
you get bonus.
for
You get
first-
in order
incentives,
to be
but
eligible to sign like the super max,
You have to
versus
make an
just
all
a
you
NBA.
have to,
max.
you have to be
Yeah.
eligible to sign it, which is not just be extension eligible.
yeah, like Garland versus Bradley Beal's contracts.
Right. If you make an All NBA team first, but if you sign a supermax before you make, or if you sign a max
can't.
before you make a All NBA team, is there not
You
the
can sign a
bonuses
super
included
after.
that would get to that point damn near?
Yeah,
No,
you
no.
just sign the max, and then if you make an All NBA team, you can sign a super max. But you definitely get a bonus for making just a All NBA team.
Yeah, because
Um,
that shit's hard.
Yeah. Is
Yeah,
that all we're
15
talking about
spots.
the this
About-
trade?
Yeah. I mean, I think.
All
we
right,
covered
let's
it pretty-
move on
pretty
to. I
deeply.
think this trade happened when you and Shu did the last podcast,
It did. Yeah.
but we'll talk about it because someone who got traded is on a new team. DeJounte Murray got traded to the Hawks for Danilo Gallinari, 3 firsts in a swap, but then Gallo went to the Celtics. So the Celtics have made some big moves this offseason, from
I
Gallo
forgot
signing
about
2 to 13, 2 for 13 or whatever he signed for,
The
and
middle.
then they traded for Malcolm Brogdon. What did they trade? They
nothing.
traded
They traded all-
Tice,
they're all
their
Neesmith,
bench.
Stauskas,
They traded the
A
5 guys
bunch-
on their bench that
and
didn't play.
and a first. Yeah.
Remember that one time
Literally.
that you were like, "Can you name the guys on the bench right now?"
Yeah,
Like the
yeah,
Sam
the-
Hausers and
Malik
stuff.
Fitz,
Sam
Yeah,
Hauser.
Those are
he
basically
didn't
the
get
Sauce
trade.
traded.
Castillo.
yeah, he didn't get traded, but those guys are the
He's-
guys that got traded.
He's still there for the ring. But
Possibly, maybe.
Doug, what do
Are
you
you saying
think about
Malcolm
this
Brogdon
trade?
is the? Are you saying Malcolm Brogdon is the key to the Celtics winning a
We're
championship?
talking about the Hawks first. Hawks
Oh,
first.
I
Hawks
mean-
first. Let's talk about the Hawks.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's talk about the Hawks. So Dove, the Hawks, do these two moves make them better? Plain and simple.
Do
Do these two moves make the Hawks better?
Well, we didn't say the other move though. Huerter.
I thought he did. My bad.
Yeah, no, Kevin Herter got
Herter.
traded.
He got
to
interrupted.
Harkless.
Yeah,
The
Herter for
Kings?
Mo Harkless, Holiday, and a first. Justin Holiday.
What team did he get traded to?
The
though?
Kings.
Kings.
Yeah,
The Kings. Okay.
Which
This is a
interesting
Kings
to
first round
see.
pick, by the way.
Yeah, which is interesting for next year.
Next
Or
year.
next year. Not sorry. Not sorry.
I
I'm
think it's
thinking of. I'm
2024.
thinking of us
It's
being.
still-
I'm thinking of us
still.
being in 2023. Sorry, the 2023 season. But
The
anyways,
Kings,
yeah.
like I said
2024.
in the last podcast or whenever I said it, the Kings are a win now in the worst way possible.
Facts. But
And they just showed us. They
the
just
Hawks.
proved it to us.
the Hawks.
Okay, Hawks.
DeJounte. Yeah, we.
Not
this
the
is why
Kings.
we struggle with late pods, but yeah, the Hawks. I don't really know exactly what to think about this. I mean, they're clearly not done. We know someone in that front court is getting moved, whether it's Clint or John Collins. I mean, it's not guaranteed, but there's a high chance that one of those two is getting moved before
I
we're
don't
done
think
here.
so.
It'll be interesting to see how
It'll
it
be-
develops.
I
I
hope.
thi-
I hope
I-
something happens.
I think something's gonna happen, but obviously we don't have any insider info.
Facts.
But anyways, realistically, I think these are really good moves, like in and of themselves. But is it gonna do anything more than where you've already like? Is it taking you past the peak that you've hit? Not saying that was their peak, but the
Farthest that they've
the
gone.
farthest that they've gone, which is the conference finals, which realistically, yes, every year there's injuries, but they had an interesting run to the conference finals. Is this taking them past that? especially with all these other teams bolstering up their
Yeah.
rosters the way they are.
It's the fact that the rest of the league is just better now. Like there's so many good teams in the East right now. Who did they lost to the Bucks in the conference finals that year? And then the Bucks beat the Nets, and that was it. Like the Sixers were frauds. Ben
The KD and
Simmons,
Kyrie
that whole
saga
fall.
is going to affect
Yeah.
a lot in both
Facts.
conferences.
It
Wherever they
will.
end
I
up.
was just gonna say you have the Celtics, you have the Sixers, and you might have like the Raptors if they trade for KD. Like that, they would be good. They would be really good. The Heat, like there's a lot. I don't think DeJounte Murray and Trae Young are getting past any of the teams I just named.
But at the same time, do we really know? Like, I
They're
feel
the
like
T-Wolves.
I feel like
Yeah,
and
they
really
are.
quick, I'll let y'all talk. But one thing just to remind y'all of is that Trae Young, like realistically in the NBA last year, maybe even the year before, was like probably the best playmaker
yeah.
by far, just in volume sense. And you put him next to a guy who his entire career has had the ball in his hands the majority of the time. I'm very interested how that's going to turn out. But
Facts.
sorry, yeah,
JD,
I had nothing else.
you're a big DeJounte Murray guy, aren't you?
we're all big
I'm a
DeJounte Murray guys. Don't
huge.
phrase
Yeah,
it like that. Wait, what?
we all.
Well,
We all wanted him to
posing
be,
in the stage. I'm giving him.
Yeah,
the
but don't
stage,
make it
not
seem like
you.
we're
You talked for
DeJounte
10
haters. Don't make
minutes
it seem
straight.
like we're DeJounte haters, bro. What?
How could that be implied that they would be? You guys would be DeJounte haters
Because
if I
people
say
are
Duval
reactionary.
is
People are reactionary and see things black
no,
and white.
you are reactionary.
That's a fact.
Facts.
But I don't see things black and white.
All right, dude. Everyone here is a DeJounte Murray guy, including you.
Yeah.
How do you think he
Doug is
fits onto
included.
this team?
Yeah, I think Mindy stated it perfectly. I don't see, like it's gonna be tough for them, but personally, I would say like I don't see this pushing them over any edge. I
Yeah.
don't.
Like
I think their
peak is
team
probably
is,
5 or 6 seeds still. Like
yeah, and at worst playing. So
Yeah.
it's just like
Like realistically, Cavs fully healthy.
yeah,
They're probably better than the Cavs, but are they really better than the Cavs?
like it doesn't really move the needle. Is what
Yeah.
you're saying. Like
If
Yeah,
everyone on the Cavs keeps
exactly.
improving too.
like other teams aside, like their own team, like their own talent, like it's just not enough. Like
You
it's,
still didn't solve the DeAndre Hunter problem too.
What's the DeAndre Hunter problem?
the fact that he exists.
And he doesn't play.
Well, they did by trading Herter, and Bogey's going to be out for the start of the season, so he's going to have the chance to.
He's gonna have to play.
Yeah, he's gonna play.
That doesn't solve the problem. That
How
makes it worse.
Yeah.
That made it so much worse. And they traded Gallo. I don't understand what your point.
Yeesh.
No,
But
you
my-
get
giving
the
him
point
a
is-
stage.
My point is Hunter can't stay on the floor. He hasn't shown us that he can play 82 games.
Oh, I thought you were saying the fact that he doesn't play
Oh,
because it was because he doesn't.
No,
he never had
Hunter's a
spot in
very good
rotation.
player. Like I actually have been surprised by DeAndre Hunter, but
I thought you were saying it was more coaching related than
oh no, it's the
Than
fact that he
injury.
gets injured every year with like really small things. At least to my memory, I could be wrong about that, but I
I
know
also-
he doesn't play.
I want to end your stigma, Dove, of the fact that 2 ball handlers can't share the floor together. For some reason, you're always saying shit like you got DeJounte Murray who's had the ball in his hands, and you throw him with Trae Young, who's one of the best playmakers in the league. I don't know how they're going to share the floor together. You have some sort of stigma in your head that 2 guys who are ball dominant cannot be on the floor at the same time. That's why you didn't want Jaden Ivey on the Pistons. That's why you're saying this now. I gotta
He
call
hated
you
the
out. on it.
Kyrie James
Seats.
Harden.
Yeah, he
But-
hated
okay,
Kyrie James Harden.
Okay, no. What?
You
You
didn't
hate
like
that? That's
that?
more James Harden.
I don't think I say that's more James Harden than anything. Also, I think I've made it pretty clear that a big part of that is the shooting ability of both of those players. You're talking about DeJounte Murray, a guy who isn't an efficient shooter
Knockdown.
or a high volume
Got a
shooter.
strap.
Let's be honest, DeJounte Murray's primary way of scoring is slashing.
All right, so you move
Sure.
Trae Young off the ball.
Get out of here. Is
Should-
Trae Young A, as successful off the ball, or B, actually willing
Hey,
to
we
play
won't
that
know
much
until
off-
we find out, right?
That's
JD,
what I'm saying.
you
That's
got
all
to
I'm
say?
asking. That's all I'm asking.
Oh, I was just gonna make a quick comment about your dog.
Oh, my bad. Yeah. You know what, folks at
The
home,
dog wants to come in the pod.
yeah, I got the puppy. She was calm. She was eating things she wasn't supposed to eat. I stopped her from eating the things she wasn't supposed to eat. And then she said, "This is boring now. Let me go bother my old ass 13-year-old dog who wants nothing to do with her." And that's what you hear now.
We love it. We love
So
we
it.
I
respect
will be
it.
periodically muting when I'm not
No,
posing a question.
we
But
appreciate that.
I think I'm gonna introduce the next topic. Let's go into the previous Hawks Celtics convo real quick. Gallo was a part of that trade for DeJounte Murray. He was bought out immediately by the Spurs and went to Boston on the mid-level exception. And then Boston also added Malcolm Brogdon for nothing. So Boston obviously made the finals this year. Let's just say if Boston had Malcolm Brogdon and Danilo Gallinari on their roster in the finals this year against the Warriors, would that have changed anything?
Like, yeah,
100%.
they could have played more than 7 guys.
No, but Jack, do you think that the Celtics would have won the series? That's the difference maker? Because at the end of the day, I'm a believer in this. Maybe you guys aren't as much, but I think if you're, especially for a team like the Celtics, if you're not winning the championship, you failed that year. Your goal is to win the championship. So would they have won the championship if they had Malcolm Brogdon and Danilo Gallinari on their roster?
No, sir. No, sir.
Yes, but I can't say it confidently. You know, like they could have.
I think that's
But it's not an outright yes.
I would have just loved to have Brogdon on the floor instead of like a Peyton Pritchard, you know?
Exactly.
That's just like such an upgrade.
It would have taken a lot of pressure off of Marcus Smart.
The only people they brought off
give
the
him more
bench.
bench minutes.
The only people that came off the bench were Derek White and Grant Williams. And then when Pritchard was out there, it was terrible.
I can't believe they retained Derek White in that trade. Like,
yeah,
that's gonna end up. Derek White had good minutes, at least in the first half of the finals. That trade's gonna end up coming in huge. Dove, you like they retained everyone. They traded the end of their bench. Do you think like they're gonna have enough minutes to spread around between their guys?
Thank you for switching up the question because I was not.
Well, that was my question the whole time.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That's why I'm.
I mean, realistically, you still have the same hierarchy. It's just you're just like you guys said, you're just replacing Peyton with Brogdon. So
is Peyton no longer getting minutes?
I mean,
fuck his
development.
I would replace a couple Grant Williams minutes with Gallo.
I mean, regular season's a different story, I guess. But like,
well, not just regular season. I mean, realistically, in the playoffs, we saw inconsistent games played from Payne Pritchard. Like he wasn't always getting minutes in the playoffs. So it's like
people play 9-man rotations.
Brogdon. No, but I absolutely in the playoffs you play 9-man rotations. That's what I'm saying. You cut Payton Pritchard, now you can, or you add Malcolm Brogdon, now you can kind of even things up a little bit. I don't think there's too much to it. I realistically am just so interested. They said he's going to come off the bench.
Brogdon?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if he started, you throw an Al on the bench, right? You think Al's wanting to take on a bench role?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he cares, but I think Al will die for the team. I'll take a bullet for Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Not Boston as a city, but the team. I don't know.
You don't, I mean, based on like that initial reaction, you don't really think it might be the biggest difference. Like,
I think it would be cool. I don't know if this is a champion. I still don't know if the Celtics are like a championship team.
I think the Gallo move was incredibly overhyped.
You guys always underrate Gallo.
Yeah, I kind of agree with Minden on that.
He's so good.
So bad lately.
So long.
So bad lately, but like still.
He was so good in the playoffs.
It'll be a nice vet piece
1 year ago.
Like
Nuggets Gallo. was
Knicks
the only
Gallo.
good Gallo.
Clippers Gallo.
Knicks Gallo.
Hawks
No.
Gallo. Do you guys not remember him
No.
in the
He
2021
has not been good
playoffs?
since he had
Nuggets-
one
That's like
game.
1 year
He had
ago. He
one
had-
That was
game.
one
He
minute.
had
That
one
was not the one
game.
to bring up. That was not the one to bring
God.
up, bro.
It was
was
not
not
one.
the-
It was
He
not
He
one
had like
game.
one game where he popped for like 30 and then combined
Okay,
for
yeah,
30
he
in
had
the rest
one
of the
really
game.
good game. He would drop at least 12 all the time.
Okay, realistically,
From your eighth guy,
I can
that's all
agree
you
with
need.
I can agree with Minton. Like if Gallo is coming in the playoffs, which you have to admit hasn't done consistently in the last year and a half.
Okay.
But if he comes in this next season and hits 3 to 4 threes off the bench, I'm super happy if I'm Boston. Super happy.
If you can have somebody that's not Grant Williams coming on the floor for either Robert Williams or Al Horford, that
no,
can
just
score
for
the ball.
offense, just for bench offense.
Yeah,
If you're having someone
mean-
come off the bench for bench offense, you want it to be Gallo, not Grant Williams.
And if you're taking Al Horford and Robert Williams off the floor, you don't always want Grant Williams to be your guy.
Fuck no.
Who else do they
Yeah,
have?
I agree.
Who else do they have that's a big man that can come off the bench? Sam Hauser?
He
I
ain't a
wouldn't
big
call
man.
I wouldn't call Gallo a big man.
They
no.
they have Rob Williams,
He
Al
can play the
Horford,
four.
Gallo.
He can.
They ran Grant Williams at center for a minute in the playoffs.
Yeah,
I
but then you don't
mean,
have to put
literally
Tatum at the
1 minute.
four.
I think this Celtics team is just insane because they don't have the most depth, like we've just said. So, like, if one key player gets injured, your season's pretty much fucked. You know?
Yeah,
Like,
they have their guys, but beyond their guys, like
Exactly.
you don't have any
really
hidden
tough.
gems down the bench.
Exactly.
No, they do.
No,
Like,
they do.
If you're
And his
late
name is
season
Danilo
and you
Gallinari.
get injured and then you got to play Peyton Pritchard come playoff time, like that's
You
not
don't want to have to give
ideal.
him minutes. You don't
No,
want
it's
to.
not.
You
So
don't
I
want it
think
to come to that.
that's their biggest concern right now is just injuries because they're so short. You know.
Yeah, I mean, and it's really hard to repeat. I mean, obviously, it's hard to repeat as a finals champion, but it's also very hard to repeat as a finals finalist.
It-
So,
I mean, they weren't even
Yeah,
supposed to be
yeah.
there. They
Yeah.
weren't.
Yeah.
They were shit in the regular season, then just kicked it up. So
February-
Also, no one
January,
expected them to
like-
get through those teams the way they did.
Yeah.
yeah,
like you
exactly.
said.
So
Brooklyn 4-0.
anything could happen. We
That's-
all
That
know
ain't happening
that.
again if they stay.
Oh,
um,
saw Shams nutty. and I was- I
yeah,
was
Shams is just
excited.
tweeting about.
We
Colin
looked down
Kaepernick.
at the exact same
Yeah,
time.
he's just tweeting about Colin Kaepernick.
Shall we?
Well, yeah. So I heard the word unexpected, and when I heard unexpected, Dove, you said unexpected. But don't look at me like you didn't. Like I'm just pulling it. You said you said they were unexpected.
Okay,
like they,
just
they
go
weren't
ahead, go ahead.
expected to beat those teams.
Go ahead.
So I'm
Oh yeah,
segueing off
yeah.
that.
Okay, yeah.
Like 30 seconds ago, you're like, who the fuck said unexpected? So, some unexpected expected contracts. Two of the bigger contracts of the offseason went to a couple point guards, Jalen Brunson and Anthony Simons, who both signed 4-year, $100 and $105 million deals, I believe, respectively. We'll start with Anthony Simons. I think that's a huge overpay. I've talked about that to y'all. I think he's not proven himself enough. He has not proven himself in a playoff atmosphere because he hasn't been able to be there. He is a great shooter. He's athletic as fuck. But $25 million after averaging like 16 points per game on like 35 minutes a game because there's no one else on the team doesn't warrant a $25 million per year extension, in my opinion. When he's getting the same money as Fred VanVleet, who proved it in the playoffs, like, I just can't deal with that. I know y'all are probably some Anthony Simons fans, like not like riders, but like,
Since before the IMG days.
yeah. So you can call me crazy
Wait,
all
no,
you
not before
want.
the IMG days. The
But
IMG days. Never
If
mind.
you really think that wasn't an overpay, like,
Yeah, I said
I
when we were
don't.
talking, I
I
said
can't
we've
agree
gotten
with
like 16.
If you keep Dame, it's an overpay. If you trade Dame, it's perfect.
That I like. Yeah, I
Um,
like that.
I think I'm gonna agree with the overpay statement, but disagree on at the same time disagree because this kid came out of high school, like we know, and he's still very, very young, and he's had so much experience in the league. It's insane. And since day one, he's been hyped up by CJ and Dame, saying like this kid's legit, and he's shown a lot of flashes. And they said like we're gonna invest in you. This could be our kid. Like him and Dame working together, and I think that's really I think it's good. I honestly like do think it's a little bit of an overpay, but I'm disagreeing in it because
You think it's like a
He-
high risk, high reward?
exactly
Like if he does continue to improve,
You pay the guy what you think he's worth, what you think he's going to be worth, because
exactly
2 years down the line when he's all-star, whatever,
he's happy still.
he's happy
getting
because
that
he's
money.
making money. And obviously,
Exactly.
yeah, a few years down the line, he would have made more money, but he got his bag.
Yeah.
And Duve, to what you were saying about him being, so young and being around these guys, perfect video to go watch when you're done with this. Shouts out Pee Wee to plug. He made a video about Anthony Simons. He breaks down his entire game, every reason why he believes that Anthony will become, not superstar, but a star, a very, very quality NBA starter. And a lot of that has to do with not just his athleticism and not just his, what'd you say? His shooting.
this is not a
It
good
actually
three-point shooter.
has way more. He is a very
I
good.
think he was like the
three-point
best in the league.
It has
this
a
year.
lot more to do with his playmaking, his IQ, his knowledge of the system that he's in, which yes has a lot to do with like Duke said, being with a team for a while. But he has learned everything that Dame has learned from Dame himself. He has basically turned himself into, if the Blazers decide to do so, the perfect point guard to continue to build, their future team around. And if you're paying him this now, 2 years from now, you're going to be real damn happy you didn't have to pay him the supermax.
Let me say this, Doug.
I'm saving that.
Go ahead, save
I'm
it.
with that, Doug.
You just said that it was only a good signing if they traded Dame, yes?
Yeah, just
So
Not an
that's your
overpay
question.
I think
if
you
they were
said
trading
money
Dame.
wise.
Well,
Yeah, not an overpay if they were trading Dame. That's what you said. But they just signed fucking Nurkic to 70 million. They just traded for Jeremy Grant, who's in a contract year and is going to want 25 million, and they still have Dame. So they're not really going rebuild route. They're kind of going win now.
I agree with.
Can they
I
coexist?
see what you're saying, but at the same time, I feel like that might be the only reason they did that is because they thought they had to. And you keep Dame coming into next year, you keep Nurkic, you keep the guys, you draft the guy you want to build around with, your other young guy, Anthony Simons, who you're about to give a bag, shade on Sharp. And you say, this is our backcourt that we want to have for the future. We don't really see a good Dame trade right now. Let's see how things shake up throughout the rest of the league, throughout, the offseason. Let's re-sign our guys. And then come, All-Star break, come trade deadline, those guys will be able to be traded.
So the Trailblazers have Dame, Simons, Jeremy Grant, Gary Payton, Josh Hart, Nurkic, Nazir Little.
Oh,
That's about it.
Sorry,
And
the last thing.
There's nothing bad about that.
Real quick, in
Brendan
response to what you were
Watford.
asking about me, what I said before about the overpay thing, it has less to do with the money. It has to do with the money, but it has less to do with the money, more the fact that if you have Damon and Anthony, you're kind of having the same prototype of player playing together. Like you can't really throw those guys on the court and be like, this is the peak of either of these players, as individuals.
That's fair. I mean, just on paper, like this was obviously Simons's breakout year. He averaged 29 and a half minutes a game, 30 starts, 57 games played. So he was not healthy the entire year. He averaged 17 points a game on 6 for 14, which is like okay as a shot heavy guard. Like it's okay. 40% from 3 on 8 attempts per game. And And then
That's not
he,
bad.
he averaged
That's not bad.
40% from three is fantastic.
What was the
Eight per-
games played
eight
at?
attempts
By
on
the
per
way?
8
game.
attempts a game? Say that again,
Yeah,
Dub.
it's
What was
very
the
good.
games played at by that? Because I know he didn't
30
end up playing
starts,
the
57
majority.
57 games.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's more than I thought. But I mean, still, it was
So
mostly. The
I mean,
end of the
honestly, his
season
sample
anyways.
size isn't that great, but the numbers that really stand out to me are obviously his defense. 0.5 steals a game. It's not going to be like he's small. He's
Okay,
not a big dude. His
Let's
on-ball defense-
watch the tape. He's a smart defender. He
He's-
knows what he's doing
but,
on the other
but
side.
he's
of the
not
court.
like a lockdown on-ball guy. He's a
He's
decent team
He's a
defender.
20-year-old.
But now he has Gary
guard who
Payton.
Not
came out of
20
high-
anymore.
He's
No, probably like
23.
24. Yeah, 23.
24.
And he has like
Sorry.
his
Still
4 or
young.
5 years in
That's
the
why the
league.
contract could be very good, is because he's still young. And we'll get to
Feels
Jalen
like
Brunson
so
in a
much younger
second.
still.
But the number that really stuck out to me was his, and I'm just looking at his breakout year. Like screw his other numbers where he's already played like 100 other games, like 170 other games. 3.9 assists to 2 turnovers as the starting, like essentially as the starting point guard for most of the time. That's a 2 assist to turnover ratio.
He just turned 23, by the way. So
Okay.
chill.
But like he's also played 4 years in the league. Like you can't
Exactly.
like you
Yeah.
can say, oh, he's only 23, but he's played 4 years in the league. Like he's had time to know what it's like to play defense in the NBA.
How long does it take for guards with small frames to build up muscle? How long did it take Steph Curry to build up muscle? How long did it take James Harden to build
Steph
up muscle?
Curry.
How long did it take?
You can't
Like
compare
these are
Steph
random.
Curry
No, but these
to
are random
Anthony
examples.
Simons.
I'm saying you're looking at you're talking about a guard who came into the league with a small
Okay.
frame, and you're talking about physically being able to keep up with.
He's not going to grow over 6'3".
Right, but he also, like, I'm not completely.
You think he's going to be? You think he's
he-
going to be an all defensive talent?
No,
Is
no,
that-
I'm
but
not saying that, but I'm
That's what.
saying
That's what I'm like.
he's
Fred
not.
Van
He's
Vliet
not
brings that
that.
defense.
He's not as far away from average as you think. Is what I'm
But
saying.
like that's not what you're.
Yeah.
That's not what you're striving for. You're not striving for average. Like, but the biggest number that I was saying was his 4 assists to 2 turnovers, 2 assist to turnover ratio. That's not great for a starting point guard. And if you look at his career, it's a 1 assist to turnover ratio, 1 assist for every turnover. Like just raw numbers. That's ass. And that's undeniable from a starting point guard who's about to be paid $25 million, especially if Dame is probably going to be the one playing off ball. That's what I got to say about that. That's
You
why it's
think
an
Dame's
overpay.
playing off ball?
What's it? I mean, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But Jalen Brunson also got a similar contract. He's never made an all-star team. He signed over 100 million. He's older. I like he's 26 already. Like he played 3 years at Nova, like, and then 4 years in the league
Fuck
already.
Nova.
Like he's older.
Facts.
I wouldn't be paying him. Like his contract is an overpay for another reason, for the fact that he's just older, and hasn't proven anything beyond last year in the playoffs. But do you think that's a big loss for Dallas? Like we'll stick with Dallas first and then go to the Knicks. As kind of our last in-depth topic before we go through a quick rundown of some of the other moves. But Jacob, you think that was like a bigger loss for the Mavs or a bigger gain for the Knicks?
Oh, definitely a bigger gain for the Knicks after losing Kemba. They need that next point guard. I mean, not that Kemba played.
The
but,
Kemba
like,
experiment failed. Like
Yeah.
that.
now
Absolutely.
they can
Their
confidently
whole
start
experiment from
Brunson.
last free agency failed. Sorry, dude. Their whole
No,
experiment.
you're good.
The
I
entirety
think, yeah,
of it.
it's facts. It's definitely facts. But yeah, I think it's definitely bigger for the Knicks because they need someone like that who can be that point guard in that city. And I also want to say, Mavs were never paying that. They were never paying that.
Yeah, they
So
can be upset all they want, but they were.
They don't. Yeah, like I don't think the Mavs should be upset because I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and say like Jalen Brunson already peaked or whatever, but like, how much better can Jalen get from what he just did in the playoffs? Like, you can't be asking him for too much more than that. And I don't know if that money was really worth it for Dallas. So I understand both sides here. I think the Knicks are in a little bit more of a sus spot though, because they're obviously the Knicks. And they just gave this non-all-star basically a fat ass contract. So we're gonna see how it shakes out. We're gonna see. Pistons are
Yeah.
gonna slap them. Say that.
Since they're gonna slap him.
Yeah, I mean the Knicks haven't had a
Correct.
really good point guard since like the 2 weeks of Jeremy Lin.
Jason Kidd, Chauncey
Lin
Billups.
sanity.
Okay, but I'm talking when they had them on
No,
their
actually,
team.
it was Linsanity. It was
Yeah, I think
Linsanity.
you're right.
It was
It was
Yeah,
definitely
think about
It's
it.
been
Linsanity.
Raymond Felton's ever since.
Iman
Or
Shumpert.
that
Yes.
early Derrick Rose. Yeah.
Yep. Derrick Rose has been very good for them, but
Derrick Rose has been good.
come on now.
Look,
Like-
shouts out D Rose.
Yeah.
Always.
That first, wow.
The first D Rose stint was not
That
good.
first D Rose, I mean, the first couple D Rose stints weren't very good, but let's move on.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's good for the Knicks because for like they haven't had a good point guard, and there's not many great point guards out there that are about to come to the Knicks right now. So I think it's kind of like the Julius Randle signing where shit, it could definitely be an overpay and definitely not work out. But now they got some solid guys and they got some solid young guys, and they'll see where it goes. Shouts out RJ Barrett.
That's out Rowan.
Any
All right.
last words on that, Dove, or should I move on?
I mean, Chandler Brunson's cool.
Okay.
Nice. We like that.
Okay.
No, I mess with Jalen Brunson. I think Duve was saying it like the Knicks need a point guard. Like they need a guy with the ball in his hands that's gonna step up to the mantle. At least maybe not with the scoring 50 points or whatever in the garden like Melo, but
60.
I think well, I just mean in general. Okay.
All right.
Whatever.
Let's-
I'm not super like
Um,
the Knicks. Wow.
Who
Yeah.
is? Except for
No,
the Knicks fans.
Knicks fans, delusional Knicks fans. So the Nuggets picked up Bruce
Playing.
Brown in
Bing
what
bong.
might be one of the more underrated signings. I cannot wait to see their defense lineup get rolled out. See Bruce Brown in the closing games, locking up Steph Curry or whomever it may be.
That's the
Great
first
move for
name.
them.
That's the first one.
Well, I mean, they kicked us out of the playoffs, so that's the first
That's
name
it.
that comes to my head. I mean, as a
Yeah, that was this
non-homer
year.
Nuggets fan, like, do y'all agree with me that like it's a big pickup? Like,
Yeah. They got him.
yeah.
Him and KCP are very big signings for them.
All
Wings,
former
like-
Pistons.
Wings that can
ish.
play defense.
shouts out to you.
Yeah, they got the Pistons in the last what was it, 10 years that we haven't been good, have just been breeding role players for championship teams.
Reggie Jackson, Luke,
And it's
Kennard,
fun to see that shit.
Tobias
Middleton.
Harris.
James Christian.
We could
Middleton,
go
sorry.
on forever. We could go on forever.
We could go
Um,
on.
Stanley Johnson.
Speaking of former
Second.
Pistons, Andre Drummond, along with Goran Dragic, both signed with the Bulls for very small contracts. The Bulls were obviously great at the beginning of the regular season, kind of fizzled out, leveled out. I think they were like the 4 seed at the end of 3 seed, 4 seed at the end of the day. Like, is
Those
that a
New Year.
game? Are those game changing moves for the Bulls? Like, do those guys even play come playoff time? Or
Bulls were the 5 seed.
Yeah, Drummond's gonna play. He needs to sub in for Tristan Thompson.
Yeah, Tristan Thompson's gone.
German is
Is he
absolutely
gone, though?
playing.
I don't think he's gone. They're just gonna split time.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
Drummond
They don't
is
like
the best
each other,
backup
though.
center in the NBA.
I just so strongly disagree with that.
Isaiah Hartenstein is? We didn't even talk about him with the Knicks. Bo Cruz, shouts out Bo Cruz.
Oh yeah, they also
Yeah.
signed
Oh,
Mitch
Career should
Robinson.
have got that Knicks contract.
Um,
Can't believe the Sixers didn't draft him.
what Dante DiVincenzo writing?
Fuck. dude.
Going to the Warriors. We never liked you, and now we
Wa-
like you
I mean,
less.
Yeah.
Facts.
Oh,
Um,
he's
Like
gonna
you
be
less.
he's gonna be a bitch with the Warriors. That
facts.
he's gonna be a bitch.
Oh,
But
everyone's
The
gonna
first
hate
time
him.
he hits a 3 in wait, it's not Oracle Arena anymore. What is it
Chase
called
Chase
again?
Center.
Thank you,
Chase
Chase.
Center.
Wow, that's
That's
why.
you
Why
just-
are
keep the
teams
name.
progressively moving into worse and worse names for
'Cause they give
everything?
money.
Like branding and everything is just becoming shit.
it's all
But
money.
yeah, I know. But
Shouts
still,
out crypto.com arena.
oh my god.
Shouts out
Um,
Chesapeake. That's my favorite. Shouts out OKC.
Nah,
bro.
it's all about Smoothie King Arena.
Ugh.
John Wall with the Clippers. Any
Minor.
thoughts
I'm
on
excited. I'm excited for that. I want
Is he
to
gonna-
see
See him
John Wall
play.
hoop.
Over
Yeah,
under
I
over
want
under
John Wall.
over under 15 games played.
15
Oh,
over. Are you joking? Like, can we bet a house on that? Like,
That's funny as hell.
I'll throw the life savings on that shit.
TJ Warren to Brooklyn. Awesome.
I want to see
love
him
that.
play
That's
too.
great. I can't wait to watch him and Ben Simmons and Russell Westbrook chop it up
Yep.
on the bench.
The Nets aren't trading anyone.
Um,
Katie said he wanted to be traded so Kyrie could get leverage.
I would honestly not be surprised if they didn't trade anyone and Katie and Kyrie sat out the entire year and lost their entire
Awesome.
contracts for this
Awesome.
past year, for this upcoming year. That'd be just absolutely a joke.
That we don't have to
so
talk
depressing.
about.
Adam Silver would personally come and kidnap Kyrie and take him to the arena.
He'd lace his shoes up for him.
I really
dude.
like the JaVale to the
I was
Mavs.
just gonna say that.
Okay, yeah.
I thought that was an
Yeah.
overpay.
I was-
I like him.
I was
on
gonna
the Mavs,
say
but I thought that
about
was
the
an overpay.
Andre Drummond shits. JaVale might be the best backup center in the league.
That
It's
might
between
be facts. That might
Drummond,
be.
Hartenstein, and I like saying it like that. Fuck off. And JaVale McGee.
Bobby
Right.
Portis.
Not a
PJ
center.
Tucks.
You're 7.
Yeah, Omer Yurtseven.
Kelly Olynyk.
Oh
Beef
god.
stew.
Into
Beef
it.
stew this upcoming year.
We're just naming people now.
That's what I'm saying. Kevin Knox, the third to Detroit. What's up?
Shouts out.
We like
He
it.
went off
We
in
like
that
it.
playoff game like Gallo did for the Hawks.
He was the highest scoring player for the Hawks in the playoff game.
That was the biggest eye roll.
He scored
I've
more
ever
than Trey
seen.
Young through like the
He
first.
did a
however many
physical head
games.
roll with your eye roll. Gorgie Jang, the second best backup,
No one
backup center in the
cares.
league, to the Spurs.
No one
Future
cares.
Victor Wembanyama backup.
Otto
The
Porter
one-year
went to the
deal.
Raptors.
They'll
That'll be a
re-sign
nice
him.
step piece for them for sure.
Yeah, the
I think
Warriors
Otto
lost
to the
Otto.
Raptors very
The
underrated.
Warriors lost all of
PJ
their
to the
role players
Sixers.
except Looney,
Yeah.
who they re-signed. They lost GP, Otto, Damian Lee, JTA, and Bielitsa.
Is Iguodala still under contract?
Patrick
Not that that
Baldwin's gonna
matters.
be
Bro, are you
inserted in
really
the lineup
expecting
right away.
Andre Iguodala to do a thing?
He's
Hey, he
he's a free
tweeted
agent
it.
too.
He
Every
said he
time
wants
I
to run
see
it
someone
back.
talk about the
Yeah.
Warriors and talk about Andre Iguodala, they forget to talk about the fact that this past season he almost had an almost free throw line dunk. He missed it,
Did he
but
really?
it was like
Really?
it was like probably like 5-6 steps in from the free throw line, and he just took off. But it obviously bricked, but like, and it was on someone. It was on somebody too. It was a
Okay.
poster. It was gonna be
You're
a poster.
delusional. You're
Good for
I'm
delusional.
not
him.
delusional.
Every time
He'll be back.
DeLon Wright 2 year to the Wiz. Huge deals out here. I mean, this
Who
is
gives a
crazy.
shit?
This is crazy. Ricky Rubio, family deal with the Cavs.
Back to the Cavs. They knew he was coming back. the day
Shouts
they
out
traded
the
him.
Martin twins. They both got bags on back-to-back days.
Gary Harris getting a bag from Orlando, continuing to finesse. Love to see it. Lou Dort getting a nice little bag from
Absolute bag.
OKC.
Love
Absolutely.
Lou
interesting.
Dort, 5-year 87. I'd pay.
Woo.
That's what Simon should have gotten.
Yeah.
And then
That's exactly the contract Simon should have gotten. You
That's
can't
what
tell
I-
me any
yeah.
differently.
What about
Yep.
the cruise missile?
That's the contract. Actually, that's the contract I give him in 2K all the time. Whenever he's a free agent, Simons.
Hey,
Uh,
the dogs are barking, and I'm not talking about my feet. So I think we got to wrap this up.
That was good.
what?
That was
Thanks,
good.
dude. Thank you.
What?
Someone appreciates it. Someone
I'm with you,
appreciates
but
it.
I'm lost.
What the fuck does that mean?
I'm lost. I don't know
If
what
you
that
made it
means.
This far, I
Are you literally
apologize.
talking about dogs, like real dogs?
No, the actual
No.
dogs are barking. So
Yeah,
I do
okay,
want to
that's
wrap
what it
this
is.
up. We promised JD would be able to celebrate his roommate's birthday.
Can you tell a
Shouts
story?
out Jacuzzi. It's
So
Jacuzzi's
shouts
You
out
want to
to
birthday.
Jacuzzi.
do? You want to
birthday.
stay an extra 5 minutes and do a story?
Oh, I'll tell a quick story. For those who have made it this
The
far,
after show.
I was off the
Yeah.
grid and I lost my
Off the
phone
grid.
in the bottom of a river
I'm
while
off the grid.
kayaking.
You didn't
was-
tell us how it happened though. Like,
Yeah,
how did you
I was
fall?
gonna. I was coming up on a left turn and my the kayak started drifting for the left. And I had to time it right to start paddling straight so I wouldn't go into the bushes. And as I'm supposed to start paddling off the turn, I went for some water because it was really hot out. I know.
You're turning?
like as I'm supposed to turn, I was going for water, so I missed it.
Oh my god.
And then I pick up my paddle too late and fall in.
You're a jokester.
The phone was in a plastic bag, not a water bag, and it fell out. Everything in it was fucked. I lost my sunglasses, my backpack, everything in the backpack, 2 portable chargers, like 3 phone cords.
Oh no.
Next kayak
the
trip, we're getting the sea
the
line.
plug-in earbuds, a battery-powered fan, and a lot of snacks. I lost a lot of snacks.
Oh, that's
Wow.
The
terrible.
sea line needs to be
So,
purchased.
so in the future,
Exactly.
dude, basically lesson learned, you don't go to do something else while you're also planning on turning.
No, he
Yeah.
knows it was on him.
Oh, it was on me.
He knows it was on him.
I was sick.
It was not out of his control.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it wasn't pretty.
We're here for you.
I
He's
wish
back
we
on
had
the
a
grid.
video of that.
He's back on the grid.
I'm
He's
back on the grid. New
That's
cellular.
important.
We're back.
Shouts out Apple.
That's out Verizon.
No free
man.
promo, though. No free
promo.
Oh, no
Especially
free
not to them.
promo.
Especially not to them. Of all people to get promo.
Okay, the dog or the dogs are going crazy, guys.
Dog is here.
The
all
dogs ran into my
The
room.
after show.
She just said the after show. You never know what's gonna happen.
You never know what's gonna happen.
I'm gonna end it here.
Shouts
Thank
out
you, boys.
Skywob.
right.
That
Follow.
car chase was amazing this
At Hustle
morning.
and
Hey, stop with the free promo to other people. Let's
At
give
Hustle and
ourselves
Hoops,
that
at
one
Hustle and
deserves it.
Hoops,
That
at
one
Hustle and
deserves
Hoops, YouTube, Twitter.
leave a
Instagram,
like,
TikTok.
subscribe, comment,
All right,
follow.
Peace.
see ya. Peace.